As summer begins to fade, in contrast the temperatures start to rise as we approach the crucial final events of the Clonakilty Black Pudding Irish Tarmac Championship. It's time for the pivotal penultimate round. Welcome to the John Mulholland Motors Ulster Rally. To achieve victory in any sport, you must have full focus and determination. As the drivers await the opening tests here, no doubt there are a few nerves too as our championship contenders prepare for battle. As well as the Irish Tarmac Championship, the British Rally Championship also forms part of the Ulster. And there, a champion could be crowned this weekend. Big names fill the lineup: Elfyn Evans, Alistair Fisher, Keith Cronin, to name but a few. You can be certain that they will be giving it everything on the demanding stages here in their bid for glory.
Well, here we are in the very wet walled city of Derry for the penultimate round of the Clonakilty Black Pudding Irish Tarmac Rally Championship, the John Mulholland Ulster Rally. This has been such a tightly contested championship all year, and at this penultimate round there are just 6 points separating the top 5. It's going to be a finishers rally, and who will take the lead after this weekend?
As Breed says, 6 points separate the top 5 drivers in the championship, which is testament to the strong competition we've seen all year. Elfyn Evans, seeded number 1, is hoping for British Rally Championship success. Joint Irish Tarmac leader Alistair Fisher is fully focused on what he has to do this weekend.
It's very close, between Sam, Keith, even Josh, myself, and Stephen Wright's not far away either, so 2 rounds left. Ulster's a very important rally. Cork's points and a half, so we have to try and put down a bit of a marker here.
Fisher has a strategy in his sights. He shares the championship lead with Sam Moffat, who has his own thoughts on the plan for the weekend ahead.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a finishers rally. At the same time, you don't want to let anyone just get away at that and sit back. So, it's going to be going as hard as you can for as long as you can and hope you can make the finish. You don't want anyone getting away there, and kind of hope you can get a good position at the end of it.
Luckily we had a good run in Donegal, so we're able to close the gap a bit, but there's 2 tough rallies left to go. A good result here will put us in a good position going to Cork, but we do need a result here, first or second realistically.
The thoughts there of our big top 3 as they get ready to do their talking on the stages. With just 2 rounds remaining, they are all aware that a mistake here could end their quest for the coveted championship title. One man who knows what it's like to lift the trophy at the end of the season is 2013 Irish Tarmac champion Gary Jennings. This weekend he switches code from a WRC car to an R5 in the shape of the Mitsubishi Mirage.
Well, dramatic changes as we can see in the Jennings camp for this weekend.
Yeah, I think it's been happening this last couple of months, but finally we've got a deal together to try out one of these R5 cars, and yeah, it's great to get running a different car, a Mitsubishi.
Try it out you have already with the day's testing. How did that go?
Yeah, very, very good. Dramatic changes. Got the car very, very good on dry tarmac, but we haven't sampled the rain yet, so it'll be a learning curve today, but yeah, we're really up for it.
Well, Gary should get a feel of what the car is like on the wet as the rain continues to fall. The clerk of the course has confirmed the rally could run under wet rules and the drivers are free to use wet weather tyres. A relief given the current conditions. Let's take a look at where the crews will be heading then on day 1 of competition. South of host city Derry is where we'll find the action. Holly Hill, the longest test of the day, kicks us off, followed by the 8 miles of Mary Gray. The shortest test, Butterlope, concludes the day. All stages are run twice. As the first stage kicked off, the rain had begun to subside. Patches of blue sky and a stiff breeze meant the tarmac was starting to dry out, offering inconsistent grip to the crews. Alistair Fisher and Gordon Noble certainly laid down their intent over the opening 3 tests. They set the fastest time on the first and second stage, but clipped a bank, damaging their suspension on the third. They still led, however, by 5.2 seconds. BRC Championship hopeful Elvin Evans was second to Fisher and not quite able to match his times, but he was the leading BRC crew, which was the most important thing for him on such a crucial weekend. Irish tarmac title hopefuls Keith Cronin and Mikey Galvin lay in third after 3 stages. After describing the conditions as treacherous, they took no serious risks on the first runs and are bedding themselves in. Lying in fourth were Johnny Greer and Kirsty Riddick, who confidently set great pace across the first 3. Best start of the season so far for the pair. We watched him win the National in Donegal at the last round, and now he's back in his Skoda R5 and dealing with the changeable conditions well. David Bogie and James O'Reilly lie in 5th. Joint championship leaders Sam Moffat and Carl Atkinson were not on the same pace as their championship rivals and found themselves back in 6th overall. There's still a huge way to go at this event yet, though. Getting off to a bumpy start with Swedish crew Fredrik Olin and Morten Abrahamsson. They picked up a puncture on stage 2 and took it easy through 3. Josh Moffat and John Rowan were looking good. They're not looking so good. Back in 8th after 3 stages, Breed finds out why the Fiesta is looking a little second-hand.
Josh, it's clear you've had a mishap already.
Yeah, stage 2 there, just slippy braking down into a 3 left, and we locked up and went into a wall sideways, but it was spun us around on the road and different things, but we got going again. The tracking's a bit out in the car, so thankfully we're still here anyway.
Well, that sounds pretty dramatic and seems it was a lucky escape for the boys. Welsh crew Tom Cave and James Morgan picked up a puncture on stage 2 when they were lying 5th overall. They dropped to 9th, massively frustrating for the battling pair. The tiger-striped Skoda Super 2000 of Marty McCormack and Dave Moynihan didn't quite have the right tyres on its paws for the first loop of stages. They rounded out the top 10 and were more than up for the challenge of the second pass. Here you see them tackle stage 3, the short test of Butterlope.
Into 3 right, half long, water outside, flat 2 left, over the junction and left over crest, right and gear crest goes 4 left plus. Into 3 right plus, 40, flat right over crest, 40 gear, right over back, bump dip, into crest, 40, short, 3 right, 60. Caution 80, a late square left tightens, late square left tightens. Go man, you have it, where you go, stop. 100.
Desi Henry and Liam Moynihan had a difficult start with an off on stage 1, which they recovered from, but lost over a minute. They're back in 11th as we await the midpoint service break.
Minus in this 5, 60 to in, 6 left, 100, 4 left after entrance, 100, 4 left after the entrance, and continues for 60 times to minus, stopping 40, turn square left, stopping 40, turn square left, small gravel, easy. Crest 4 right, crest medium 4 right.
Also having a tough time was Stephen Wright and Arthur Kieran's. The turbo pipe decided it wasn't keen to stay in place, and despite them fixing it after stage 1, it came off again on stage 2. A further electrical problem would compound their challenge. After a season of no problems, they all came in one morning for Wright. Joe McGonigal and 2015 champion co-driver Kieran Geeney had a tough start also. They opted for full wet tyres on drying stages and struggled for grip. For Aaron McHale and Enda Sherry, it was an early retirement after they put their Skoda Super 2000 on its roof on stage 2. Let's turn our attention to the National now. Jennings and Kennedy were adapting to their new steed, the Mitsubishi R5, and were leading the National section of the rally. There were a few teething issues, which of course are to be expected.
5 left over crest here, 40, flat right, 60. 2 right continues, into 2 right, into 3 right, in past the gates. 100. Turn square right now, mud. 60, and you go, that's it. 60 flat left.
Second to Jennings were Alan Carmichael and Ivor Lamont, just 6 seconds behind after stage 3. In their Subaru Impreza, Niall Devine and Damien Duffin were third in class. First up at the Mark II escorts were Ryan Loughran and James McCarville, fourth in the National, closely followed by Chris Armstrong and Chris Melly, who were 5 seconds adrift of Loughran. Rounding out the top 6 in the National are Camillus Bradley and Crawford Henderson, a further 10 seconds back from Armstrong. Wesley Patterson and Johnny Baird were within the top 10 after the opening 3 stages, but had got held up along the way.
So second stage we had a couple of overshoots, and then we got stopped in the middle of the road by Aaron McHale's accident. So a poor run on stage 2, clean run through there, so back to service.
After the first 3 tough technical tests, Eugene Megan and Sarah Whelan were sitting just outside the national top 10. Many drivers were finding it tough. John Bonner and Leon Jordan steered their escorts safely through the opening 3. Leading the modified championship coming into Ulster is Davy Armstrong. He tells Breed it's not a walk in the park here.
Well, the Ulster Rally is bound to be a favoured one for you, Davy.
Yeah, definitely is. I've done it a long number of years now. Great rally, and new venue up here, so it's all new territory, I think, for everybody. So, but I'm struggling a wee bit this weekend, in fairness, and tyre choices and stuff. Very slippy out there, like.
Ross Marshall is only 4 points behind Armstrong in the championship standings and is almost 30 seconds behind him after 3 stages.
Just your second visit to the Ulster Rally event. Has it been kind to you so far?
Yeah, it's been good. We're finding it difficult in these stages. They're very, very slippy, so the grip levels vary a lot, so it's just knowing when to push and knowing when to back off, but we're happy enough with the pace and it's looking good for where we are in the championship just now.
Time now to reflect on the first stages with the international top 3.
Alistair, so many went out this morning with a wrong tyre choice. What about your team?
No, we were on the right tyres there, so we're happy enough. Just dropped a little bit in there at Alvin. We just have a small problem with the back left of the car, just sitting a little bit out of line, but we can get it fixed now in service.
A tough morning for us. I think we did a mistake with the tyres on the second one after seeing how dry the first one was. We crossed with some slicks and we really lost out. We've kept that in here. It's a bit drier but still wet all the way through. So it might be better in here, but not a fantastic morning.
No problems. We're kind of where we need to be, so see how it goes. With a bit of intercom trouble in there now, I couldn't hear him for the first mile or so, but other than that, everything else is okay.
So here's the confirmation of the results after 3 challenging stages. As you can see, it's tight at the top in both the international and the national.
Alistair Fisher has proven on the early stages of the Ulster Rally that he means business, as he has secured that lead. But his fellow competitors are also in hot pursuit of that coveted position. Join us after the break for a repeat of the opening stages.
Welcome back to day 1 of the John Mulholland Motors Ulster Rally, the penultimate round of the Clonakilty Black Pudding Irish Tarmac Championship. We've completed 3 stages so far, tough tests that have challenged the crews, and it's Alistair Fisher who leads going into the afternoon stages. All eyes to the skies to predict what could happen. It's great to see the 2003 World Rally Champion co-driver Phil Mills and 1996 British Rally Champion Gwyndaf Evans on hand to support Gwyndaf's son, Elvin. Elvin and co-driver Craig Parry stepped up the pace this afternoon on the second pass of the stages. They move now into the lead on stage 4, Holly Hill. The Citroën DS3 R5 of Keith Cronin and Mikey Galvin was well worked this afternoon. A half spin didn't put them off pace, and they're now within 4.5 seconds of the lead, up to second overall. The second DGM DS3 of Johnny Greer and Kirsty Riddick were now into third overall. David Bogey was setting some competitive times and was knocking on the door of third overall. A strong afternoon for the Scotsman. Former rally leader Alistair Fisher had picked up a puncture on Holly Hill, which plummeted him down the leaderboard. He lost almost 50 seconds and fell to fifth. This spin compounded matters on stage 5. Disappointment for the man who had been in charge in Ulster. Frederick Olin recovered from earlier puncture problems, but was still not happy with his ultimate pace. And back on the pace we're used to seeing was Sam Moffat, second quickest on the second run of Holly Hill.
Crest, 5 left, B. You have 60 after to shiny, 4 left, plus, in. 80. Crest and hug, 6 right. Dip, 60. Hold, 6 right over long crest, 6 left. 60. 6 left again, 100 red up here, shiny, 5 right, only 30 slot square left. Oh.
Bouncing back from their morning woes were Desi Henry and Liam Moynihan. They were now in 8th overall, but unhappy with the understeer on their Skoda R5.
5 left bad mode, let's pick your line away through it. 60, 5 left over mode, stop 40 over mode, wide about 1 right onto clean, onto better like. Yeah, 100.
Sitting in 9th at the end of day 1 were Josh Moffat and John Rowan. They'd experienced a big moment in the morning, but thankfully it was a less dramatic afternoon for the pair. Completing the top 10 were Marty McCormack and Dave Moynihan. For his first time back in a car in 2 months, it had been a good day. Welshman Tom Cave had picked up a puncture on the morning tests, and the afternoon was to be a tough one, as the car had 2-wheel drive only from stage 6. They dropped to 23rd overall by the end of the day. In their Fiesta R5, Jamie Anderson and Ross Whittock were slipping and sliding with the best of them, completing day 1 13th. For Brendan Comiskey, there was a little moment as he ran wide on stage 4 and got stuck briefly. Brendan now lies 16th. Rally sponsor John Mulholland and co-driver Jeff Case were all about caution on the opening day. The tricky conditions meaning they just wanted to get through the day safely.
All the way down for me, 400, drive it now, go. Go on, 400, all the way down to a 3 right, all the way down, you're going on further. 3 right here, 3 right now, 60 past the farm, into 4 right over finish, caution 4 right over finish, into 5 left.
Mulholland backed Paul Rowley and Patrick Brides were in 36th overall in their Skoda Super 2000. They'd had an off on the very first stage of the day, but were they feeling the pressure to get a good result here?
Yeah, well, John says bring it home, that's all I know, and he wanted that sticker on the window in a safe spot, so we're doing all right.
Time to look at the National Championship now, and taking the lead on stage 4 to hold it overnight were Alan Carmichael and Ivor Lamont. They had a 13-second advantage over Gary Jennings and Rory Kennedy. Brake issues through stage 4 hampered the pair. This spin on stage 5 was in the same spot as Fisher.